Hey guys, it's Miss Nut, and I'm going to start a chapter book today. And each day, I'll send your parents the link and to your email both, and you can click on it and watch or listen to a chapter as I read it, and then we can talk about it on our meetings. So, Black Lagoon Adventures is the series of book for this book, and it is called The Field Day from the Black Lagoon. So it looks like a silly book. It looks like maybe there's a monster. The kids are scared. Maybe this guy's eyes are popping out. I thought maybe it'd be a fun short chapter book that we could read together. So it is by Mike Thaler. That's the author. He wrote the story. And then it's illustrated by Jared Lee, and he drew all the pictures. And so when I look at this book, in the inside there are lots of pictures. And they're just little black and white pictures, and kind of helps us to follow the story as it goes along and imagine and think about the story as we're reading it. So if I look at the back, it kind of tells me a little bit about the story. So I always like to read those to know what the book might be about. So on the back it says, "Race to your doom in the Black Lagoon. Field day is 1 week away and everyone has to go, but you'd rather go home. Crazy Coach Kong is making up all the events. You might leap over lions, hop over hippos, skip through snakes, and tiptoe around tigers. Will it be field day? Will it be a field day of your dreams or a field day of screams? There's only one way to find out. Run for it. Don't miss out on tons of fun in the field day from the Black Lagoon." So, have any of you ever been to a field day? A field day might include going out to the track at your school and possibly running some events, or running a 100-meter dash, or running a mile, and that's 4 laps around the track. And you do those types of things in PE often. But field day, sometimes there's balls and you might kick, you might throw a ball. You might play tug of war, where one team gets on the side of a rope and then another team gets on the side of a rope, and you have to pull and see which team wins, and can pull is the strongest and can pull the other team over the line. So there's different events, but this one sounds a little different. So talks about on the back of the book, leap over lions, hop over hippos. That sounds kind of silly, right? So let's see. What happens. So if we open the book, we can see that there's a contents, and it goes down to chapter 12. So there's 12 chapters in this book. And so let's go ahead and get started with chapter 1. And the chapter 1, it has a title, "The Agony of Defeat." And you can see the pictures. So let's begin. Coach Kong marches us into the gym and lines us up. He paces back and forth holding his clipboard. "Next Friday, we're having a field day," he declares. So what's the name of the coach in the story? Did you hear what the first sentence? It said Coach Kong. And up here, there's a picture of Coach Kong. Do you think a real coach would look like that? No. But sometimes we think our coaches or our teachers might be scary, and so I think that's why they drew him a little scary looking. So it says he reads off some of the events from his list. So Coach Kong has his clipboard and he's reading off some of the events from his clipboard. "I nervously start picking at the rubber on my sneakers. It sounds like the script for an action movie. Parachute," says Coach Kong. "Do we have to jump out of an airplane?" That would be a silly event, right? If you had to jump out of an airplane and let a parachute catch you as you fall. But we also have other kinds of parachutes, right? It says obstacle course. He continues. "Do we have to run through fire, leap over lions, hop over hippos, skip through snakes, and tiptoe around tigers. So the picture is a little obstacle course, and sometimes you might follow an obstacle course through in the gym or out at the field to get through an event. And so this one's kind of silly. I don't think they're gonna do that. Does that sound real? Hopping over hippos and skipping through snakes? No. So they're exaggerating just a little bit in his head about what he's thinking about field day. Do you think he's looking forward to field day? Or maybe he's anxious or nervous about what's going to happen? I think that's a pretty good guess about how he's feeling, maybe. Because he's imagining all of these things and kind of exaggerating in his head about these events. So let's see. Then there's Charlie over the water. They fill a big tank with hungry sharks and throw us in. That gets you ready for the one-legged race. Oh no. I don't think I feel so good. I asked Coach Kong if everyone has to be at the field day. He just laughs and says, "It'll be a day you never forget." So that's the end of chapter 1. So Coach Kong says it's going to be a day they never forget. Do you think that they're really going to put them in a tank full of sharks? No. Okay, we'll go ahead and read chapter 2. Chapter 2, launch time. So if something launches, it gets started. So let's see. At lunch, we eat big bean burritos and look over the stuff to do at next Friday's field day event. There's the big bean bag toss. That should be easy. We just ate them. There's another event called Scarf Tag. Eric says they should make an event called Barf Tag because it would be so cool and gross. Ugh. Someone barfs, that's not good. Some of the girls move to another table. It's so easy to make them queasy. If someone's queasy, how do they feel? They might feel uneasy or like they're going to throw up if they're queasy. So the boys are talking about gross stuff at lunch and the girls are like, ew, and so they move to a different table because they don't want to hear it while they're eating lunch. We read off another one, 3-legged race. That should require major surgery. Ouch. So for 3-legged race, they don't really cut off a leg. They might hold a leg up so that they're balancing on one leg, and then the other person has 2 legs, so 2 plus 1 is 3 legs. Then there's tug of war. This is going to be survival of the fittest. I don't fit at all. Okay, so here's some pictures. There's tug of war and, the 3-legged race and tug of war. And their kids are pulling, and then there's a monster over here pulling. Who knows, maybe I'll win the sack race. I'm a good sleeper. Penny and Doris say that they will luck out and win a bunch of events like jump rope, hula hoop, and egg race. Now those are a little more practical and are a possibility of actually happening. And so it shows him in bed sleeping because he said sack race. So a sack race is really not someone in bed sleeping. A sack race usually is they put a sack or like an old potato sack around their legs, and then they have to jump in that while their feet and legs are in that sack to the finish line. So that would be a sack race. But it does show jump roping and hula hoop, and then the eggs down here for an egg race. Freddie's interested in all the food events. He wants to win Candy Walk, Cookie Factory, and Bubble Gum. He's starting to train right now by seeing how many pieces of bubble gum he can fit in his mouth at the same time. By the time the bell rings, he's up to 11. So here's Freddie, and he's seeing how many pieces of bubble gum he can fit in his mouth. That's not very good. He might get sick or choke, or that's not very good to do. But sometimes there are little silly games that you can play where you put marshmallows in your mouth and see how many you can fit. But only do that if the parents are around. So there's Freddie. And that's the end of chapter 2. These are really short chapters. So we will read chapter 3 tomorrow. You can click on the link tomorrow to continue the book. I hope you enjoyed chapter 1 and 2, and we'll see what happens with field day.